On this flustery February 10th of 2016, I'm Carly Whitnall, and I am today talking about learning analytics and educational data mining. I've just finished a webinar that was hosted by Dr. George Siemens, who is one of the co-researchers of connectivism, which is a current learning method that is currently under research and is probably among the most popular when it comes to e-learning. It was an amazingly interesting webinar, probably the top of those that I've engaged in recently. He talked a lot about learning analytics and the whole purpose of measuring, collecting, and analyzing and reporting data about learners and their contexts for the purposes of understanding and optimizing learning in their learning environments. He narrowed it down to two really interesting things that are in the upcoming of e-learning and, of course, learning analytics or educational analytics. These are wearables and AI, or artificial intelligence. Let me just first talk about wearables, and I think this is pretty fascinating because the idea of wearables in an educational setting, especially regarding learning analytics, is that there will be sensors attached to these wearables that would be triggered by cognitive responses. So when you're engaged in something, a signal goes off that shows the activity, mental activity taking place, or the heart rate increasing. And it was really interesting because he actually talked about Donald Trump and Donald Trump's platform that he supposedly supports, which is quite interesting. But one of the things that he talked about was Fitbits and how he will make it mandatory that all students wear wearable educational material that will track, and they will need to take at least 10,000 steps per day. And it was really quite interesting because we are at a stage where can we force people to do things like take a certain number of steps? We can analyze how much activity is taking place. We can also analyze how much brain activity. One of the other things that he discussed was how important it is to understand, well, and the purpose of this type of tracking is to find out where learners are, how much they are learning, and to be able to reassess, rebuild, and such individual learning outcomes. So based on, instead of everybody going into a program with a blank slate, supposedly cognitive blank slate, that everybody is at a different stage and each individual learner is analyzed individually as opposed to each being classed as in the same place. Very interesting, and in the future this is what we have up and coming.